Welcome to this brief review of Luke chapter 8. Once you have read and researched the events and teaching in chapter 8, use this review to help reinforce the main points of the chapter. Here is a brief preview of the main points in this chapter. First, we are given a brief description of some who traveled with Jesus. Then two parables are recorded. Jesus teaches the parable of the sower, then follows with the parable about a lamp. He then gives a new meaning to those who are his true brethren. The chapter ends with miracles. Jesus calms the sea, he casts out demons from a man possessed by them, and then he heals two women, one older and one younger. In the first 3 verses of chapter 8, we're told that Jesus continued preaching in every city and village. In addition to the 12 apostles who followed him, there were notable women who helped provide financially for his ministry. Yet another indication in Luke's gospel of the important role that women had. Then Jesus told a parable at a pivotal part of his ministry. A parable, which literally means to throw alongside, was a simple story to which a spiritual meaning was attached or placed beside. In the parable of the sower, Jesus explained the critical role of hearing in God's kingdom. Jesus described a farmer who sowed seed on different soils with different results. The birds ate the seed thrown on the wayside soil. The seed cast on rocky soil sprouted but soon withered because it had no root. The seed sown among the thorns was choked out by those same thorns once it began to grow. But the seed sown on good ground yielded many times the original seed. When Jesus' disciples asked him what the parable meant, he explained that the seed represented God's Word. Individuals hear it and respond with different mindsets. The wayside soil represents a closed mind, one which resists God's Word. It ignores what is taught and refuses to give a fair hearing to its teaching. The rocky soil is what we might term a shallow mind, not because it's unable to understand, but because it results in a faith that is unwilling to withstand the persecution that is sure to come. Initially it responds in an enthusiastic way, but its failure to take root means that it does not persevere. The thorny soil is a mind that has many concerns, be it cares, riches, or pleasure. These others dominate, and they crowd out any priority that God's Word would have. The good ground is a heart which listens carefully and responds, giving God's Word the attention it deserves. It patiently produces the fruit that God desires in our life. Jesus followed up with a lesson about light. Light illuminates, and we use it to help us. When God enlightens our way with His Word, He expects us to bathe our lives with this light. Those who listen carefully will receive even more. Those who don't will lose what they have. It's up to us. At this point, Jesus' physical mother and his earthly brothers approached, wanting to be near him. Jesus used this opportunity to teach that those who do his will are the ones who are truly his brethren. He wasn't ignoring his own family. He simply taught that he has a spiritual family whose tie is even closer. The chapter ends with 3 extraordinary miracles that Jesus did in Galilee. First, Jesus crossed the Sea of Galilee with his disciples. As Jesus slept, a storm quickly arose that put them all in jeopardy. The disciples woke Jesus, warning him that they were all about to perish. Jesus spoke and calmed the wind. When he rebuked the disciples for their lack of faith, the disciples were even more fearful. They marveled because they had never seen this kind of display of power. When they arrived on the eastern shore of the Sea of Galilee, a man confronted them. He was possessed with demons, spiritual beings under the control of Satan. These demons, aware of both Jesus' person and his power, asked him to cast them into a nearby herd of swine, which Jesus did. As a result, they rushed headlong into the lake and drowned. The healed man now sat calmly in his right mind. He went to tell others what Jesus had done for him. The other people, fearful of Jesus' power, simply begged Jesus to depart. When Jesus returned to Capernaum, the multitude was waiting for him. Jairus, a ruler of the synagogue, begged Jesus to come to his house and attend to his dying daughter. Jesus responded, and as he made his way, a woman who had hopelessly sought the help of physicians to solve a 12-year chronic bleeding problem touched him and was healed. Jesus commended this woman's faith, only to learn that Jairus' daughter had died. He promised that she would be made well, then went to her house, spoke to her, and raised her from the dead. Jesus' power over nature, disease, and death produced both fear and astonishment. That concludes our review of Luke chapter 8. You are ready for chapter 9, where Jesus starts to focus his attention on his last journey to Jerusalem. Once more, feel free to email us with your questions. Select the link at the bottom left and type in your questions or comments, then select the Send button. We will reply to your questions as soon as we receive them. We hope this study of Luke is helping you to become better acquainted with Jesus, and we hope the better acquainted you become, the more you appreciate him.